This is a copy of Splatoon 3's internal documents, painstakingly acquired by me for the sole purpose of giving the community what it wants. Information. Nintendo has been content drip feeding us through Twitter for far too long, and I say no more. I flew straight to Kyoto and I headed down to Nintendo's headquarters to get us what we've deserved for so long. But, a funny thing about Nintendo, Splatoon 3 isn't being made in this building, but in this one. So a small detour later, there I was, standing in front of the target of my greatest heist yet. Disappointingly though, it didn't come with many pictures. Not only that, it was also entirely in Japanese. Luckily, I got a friend who can help me out with just that. Hey Google. And look, I was planning on taking the development version of the game, but I could already hear the barking of the Nintendo guard dog, so you'll have to suffice with graphics made by yours truly until the game fully comes out. But I get it, we've wasted enough time. You want to know the juicy new features of Splatoon 3. Like how the news is now broadcast through the mobile Squid phones, so you can just skip it. This handy dandy phone is actually quite the centerpiece of the game and its UI from the sounds of things. It's the main way to track your stats, communicate with friends, and check out your daily report of squids. Are you sure about that?
そんな書類です。
These daily reports seem to be a set of goals to reach every day. Get 10 splats, score 1,000 points in a match, that kind of stuff. Some of them seem to be oriented towards specific modes, like Turf War, Salmon Run, and even Private Battles. At least that's from what I remember. I lost some of the pages in the Private Battle revision segment while crawling through the events, but from the pages that I do have, it looks like they're adding a couple of things to PBs. There's even mention of a kick button. It's really nice seeing Nintendo listening to the fanbase like that. Not only with just the kicking, as they're bringing back old favorites from the first game. Squid Jump, Squid Racer, and the other one, they're all back to play well in queue, and it seems like a good number of new ones are being added as well. Squid Beats is also back and has been completely overhauled, and now features a customizable track list alongside a song player. The document is a little vague on what it's going to look like, but the general gist of it seems to be that it's some kind of music player akin to Smashes and a way to decide what tracks are going to be actually playing during the games, so you can finally listen to something other than Splat Tack. It really feels like Nintendo is trying to make the game feel like it's open for you to be free and do whatever you want, and the return to the Miiverse system certainly helps with that. It seems to be renamed to Mi Space, and it works like a stripped-down version of Twitter or something. So I guess that explains why Nintendo was so obsessed with the Twitter drip feeding of information. Mi Space seems to be a sort of hub for really connecting with the community. It says here you can share loadout presets with friends, and even try out the fits of the freshest squids in the block. And honestly, the amount of customization is staggering. There seems to be a whole new system in place, and though it doesn't really state how it works in detail, the file refers to it as customizable hair colors. The section on it mentioned custom gradients that unlock with certain titles and squid reports, along with special ink colors that sound really hard to get. I imagine that it doesn't actually change your hair inside of the matches, but instead works together with Mi Space and a social system that I'll get to later. Actually, here, let's really delve into what customization this game boasts, and talk about how much power you have over the layout, appearance, and style of the plaza, and the new systems for opening new buildings and upgrading them. The currency for opening new buildings seems to be golden eggs, while the cost for upgrading the buildings is mostly listed as just medals. The NPC you go to for these upgrades is a little vague though. The name seems to translate to Mr. Littler Co-Judge, so from the sounds of it, there's now a third judge, and it's even littler? Regardless of who you're dealing with for these upgrades and unlocks, they seem to be 100% worth it. Some of them are small but impactful, like upgrading the clothing shop to get some actually good gear, but others completely change the game, like the upgrades to Grisco. There's a handful of them, but the biggest one hands down is the one that unlocks brand new modes. There's Ranked Salmon Run for people who hate themselves, Unlimited Salmon Run for people who hate themselves, and my personal favorite, Versus Mode, where you can match up against your friends and randoms online and play as the Salmonids and have others hate you. Honestly, the Plaza customization sounds incredible, but some of them feel a little strange to lock behind upgrades, like the Battle Tower, which can be upgraded to unlock a new 1v1 mode, a handful of smaller modes that are played on teeny tiny maps. It really feels like these should just be allowed from the get-go, but I guess Nintendo has got to be Nintendo, so strange choices are gonna keep being made. And alright, listen, I have been keeping a little secret from you. I didn't want to say it immediately, because it would have overshadowed all of the other Plaza customization stuff. But there's a special place you can unlock pretty early on in the Plaza, and it's something a lot of us have been waiting for. Apartments. I know. Now listen, I dropped some of the papers on it while I was being tased in the break room, so my info is a little scarce, but here's a quick fire of some of the things you can expect to see from these little homes away from home. You can customize the way that they look by swapping out the furniture, selecting a different layout, and that kind of stuff, but there isn't as much customization in the looks as I'd like. You can't just move around your furniture and really personalize the place. I guess all that technology was used up for Animal Crossing. There's a mirror as well that allows you to change things about your Inkling something that are uniquely changeable in just the apartment, like custom hair colors. There are also some systems in place for unlocking variants of gears for the mirror, where small tweaks can be applied. You can also visit other people's places as long as they're online, and it works a little bit like grouping up in a squad in League, where you can all join a game mode together and be sure everyone gets a spot in the lobby. Long gone are the days where the least favorite friend waits in the standing by screen forever. There's also a bunch of upgrades especially for the apartment, like the armory, where Inklings can create their very own weapons at enormous costs. It seems to be a real endgame goal, but the reward seems really broken. See, the way it works is you get a base weapon, slosher, roller, shooter, whatever you want, and then you can tweak the statistics you get, but increasing some leads to a decrease in other. It's a real balancing game that seems like it'll either be way too strong or completely too weak to compete with the existing weapons. You can even pick out the subs and specials that go in each weapon, and even though some cost far more than the other, it seems you can make virtually any kit you can imagine. Apart from completely insane weapon creation is the customization, unlocked much earlier than the weapon tuning. These are minor aesthetic changes like stickers and keychains, unlocked through something that seems like an achievement system, but I think I lost those pages when I had to set fire to Shinya Takahashi's office. Regardless, all this stock of weapons leads perfectly into the new battle system. There are some minor changes, like the inclusion of, quote, improved squid bagging, whatever that means, and a highlight system where your best plays are automatically saved to your laptop in your apartment, which you can save in full 1080p glory. There are a couple of other changes. They completely remove blasters, added a special that works entirely different than the specials we know. It seems to work like a salmon run lifesaver, where if you die as it's fully charged, you can be revived by your team. Oh, and they added a new Battle Royale mode, but I predicted that one ages ago. And with that, we're kind of getting to the end of the documents. There's a little talk about further customization in PBs through later updates, but that's not going to be in the game at launch, just like the special VIP lobbies, which are special places for special players to meet up. Some of the lobbies include one for content creators, some for championship winners, and even a special ranked one for top 500 players. And with that, we've kind of gone for the whole docu. Oh, something dropped out. What's Season Pass? Microtransactions? Loot boxes? I have a gun! Subscribe. And like, and share with your friends, and like comment, and that kind of stuff. Okay, thanks. Bye.